that there's an ingratitude in these people, the kuffar. They're ungrateful. And Allah warns us in many, many places in the Quran about this idea of forgetting the blessings of Allah, to remember the blessings of Allah. Part of dhikr is remembering the blessings of Allah. In ta'uddu ni'matullahi la tuhsuha. If you attempt to enumerate the blessings of Allah, you will never enumerate them. And one of the dangers of dunya is when you reflect too much on the world, on the negative qualities of the world, you can fall into a depression, you can fall into a state of ingratitude when you don't focus on the positive. And that's why Iblis wants you to focus on the negative. Iblis wants to fill your life with all these troubles, make you feel despair. That's the whole game of Iblis. He swore an oath to Allah that he would lead the majority of humanity astray. And he said that you will find that most of them are not grateful. They're not shakirin. So it's a very dangerous thing to fall into ingratitude. So he says, Qaf, by the glorious recital, but they think it's strange that a warner has come to them from their midst, and those who scoff say. So here he's translating kafaru as scoff. This is an astonishing thing. When we have died and are dust, like if we إِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا ذَلِكَ رَجْعٌ بَعِيدٌ. If we die and then we're turab, we're dust, ذَلِكَ رَجْعٌ بَعِيدٌ. That is a very remote possibility, right? قَدْ عَلِمْنَا مَا تَنْقُصُ الْأَرْضُ مِنْهُمْ وَعِنْدَنَا كِتَابٌ حَفِيظٌ. We know what the earth has diminished from them, has taken from them, because as when we're buried in the earth, except for the incorruptibles, and they're real, the incorruptibles are real. There are people who do not, they don't perish from the earth. And many, many people have seen incorruptibles. There was a study in Discovery some time ago where they let people into the Vatican where they keep the incorruptible bodies. And these are pre-Islamic saints that were preserved in their bodies. And some of them they mummified. A lot of the popes actually, to kind of ensure that they didn't corrupt, they had them embalmed. But there are people that don't. The earth does not take them. And I heard from Sheikh Mahmoud Sawaf, the Iraqi scholar, and these are people I believe. He was a man of great integrity, but I heard he was in a group of people that reburied Sayyidina Hamza when they had floods and the grave actually got uncovered, and so they reburied him, and he said he saw him fully intact, his body. And there are many examples of that. So it's not, and this is in other traditions as well. It's not just the Muslims that have incorruptibles. There are other traditions of this. One of the big impacts when I was a 12-year-old, I went to an Orthodox summer camp in Greece, and they took us to the island of Zakynthos, and there was a Orthodox saint in their tradition whose body was completely intact, open to air. And we were told that they still cut the nails and cut the hair of this saint. But there are many, many examples of that in history and still today. So it's not as... But Allah says they think we're just going to be dust, and Allah says no. And then we have Kitabun Hafid. We have a book, Kitab, which is a Lawh al-Mahfuz. The Lawh al-Mahfuz has everything. One of the most amazing things of our time, and you have to consider this, is that nobody had this idea of having all your information in one thing, right? And Allah says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. We will show them our signs in themselves and on the horizon until it becomes clear to them that this is true. I mean, if you look at this, just this machine, the amount of information that you have access to, just from, and this is like a lawh, the actual shape of it. It's like a lawh. The amount of information that you have access to just in this machine. And then this is just what we have access to. What the intelligence community has access to is a whole other thing, because all the telephones are being monitored by computers. They have supercomputers that monitor all the telephone. They have keywords that if they pick up, if they hear in their words. Now they have AI that can do instantaneous translation, so they don't need to have translators actually listening in and doing these things. This is all human beings with these pea brains. We look very clever, but in the grand scheme of things, we're very insignificant. And people, this is the thing of the time we're living in. There's so many signs. And so this idea of a lawh al-mahfuz, where all information is contained, the fact that Allah has shown us this miniature example of this, where they believe they're going to put all human information, everything will be available to everybody instantaneously. All the 25 million books in the Library of Congress, all human information that can be researched and accessed almost immediately. And then Allah says, "But كَذَبُوا بِالْحَقِّ لَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ فَهُمْ فِي أَمْرٍ مَرِيجٍ." They deny the truth. They deny. This is takdhib. This is one of the hallmarks of kufr, is to yukadhib, is to deny it. It's not true. It's just asatirul awwaleen. And this is an ancient, again, many prophets were belied. They were attacked by their people. They say these are just the mythology of the past. That's their view. It's just mythology. You're believing in fairy tales. There's a British atheist who has made a second career. His first career was in science, but he's made a whole second career on this idea of imaginary beings and how ridiculous it is for people to believe in imaginary beings. And he goes around telling people that you believe in these fairy tales, but if it helps you get through the day, that's okay. Just don't try to tell me about that. And these people have always existed. There's nothing new about these people. They existed at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. They existed before that time, and they've always been there. And so, لَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ فَهُمْ فِي أَمْرٍ مَرِيجٍ, they're in this doubt. So they say, oh, he's kahin, he's sha'ir, he's majnoon. They don't have any one thing they're fixed on, and even the same one person will change his view about the Prophet. One of the things that the Mufassirun say is that anybody who either if you deviate from the truth, you will always be in a type of amr marij, that you'll be in a type of confusion. That if you're not straight, if you're not following the truth, you will become confused. And then أَفَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى السَّمَاءِ. This is a really important thing, because I think one of the main reasons why we have so much nihilism and so much lack of belief is artificial light. And it's very interesting that we call it artificial light. The fact that we call it artificial light, it's not the nur that Allah created. He did, in the sense that in Allah khaliqu kulli sani'in wa san'atihi. Allah creates every maker and what he makes. But it's artificial in that we invented it, and these are human products. Whereas the light, the natural light of the stars, have been put out. One of the words that you can use to translate أَفَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى السَّمَاءِ, have they not considered the sama? Haven't they considered the heavens? فَوْقَهُمْ, haven't they considered the heavens فَوْقَهُمْ, above them? The word consider is from a Latin word, which is sider, which means star. And so to consider something is to reflect on it deeply. And the thing that humans have always reflected deeply on is the heavens. And all of our sciences come from reflection on the heavens. Mathematics, لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a reckoning in the skies so that you would learn mathematics. So the loss of the stars, they've been put out. You go out in the night sky, you don't see stars anymore. When people can see stars, it will force them to reflect. It's the nature of the stars. That's why in the Timaeus, Plato actually says that God created sight so that we might look up at the heavens and see the stars and see the perfect order of the heavenly world, that we might want to bring that order down into the disordered world of humanity. Like to align ourselves. This is this vertical alignment with the heaven, to align ourselves with the stars. And this is why if you look at our prayer, it's all based on this alignment with heavenly bodies. Our prayer is based on alignment with heavenly bodies. Our fasting is based on alignment with heavenly bodies. We break our fast with alignment with heavenly bodies. Allah is telling us, look at the sky. That's how you determine your prayer times. Look at the moon. That's how you determine. مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ وَالْحَجِّ. Like this is how, it's the heavens that we order our lives with. Our spiritual lives are ordered with the heavens. وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ. By the stars they are guided. So what happens إِذَا طُمِسَتْ? When نُجُوم إِذَا طُمِسَتْ, when the stars are put out. I mean, this is one of the signs. Al-Ghumari said that that sign wasn't for the akhirah, it was for dunya. Like the nujum have been put out. So Allah says, consider, reflect on the sign. كَيْفَ بَنَيْنَاهَا وَزَيَّنَّاهَا. And we ornamented it. We ornamented it. So there's a zina in the heavens. وَمَا لَهَا مِن فُرُوجٍ. There's no gaps in it. So haven't they observed the sky above them? How we have constructed it and adorned it without any gap in it? And then to look at the earth. وَالْأَرْضَ مَدَدْنَاهَا وَأَلْقَيْنَا فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ. We place down the earth and we put in it rawasiya, these thawabit, these great mountains that are anchored. وَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ زَوْجٍ بَهِيجٍ. And we put in it every beautiful type, every no'a, every beautiful type, every pair also. تَبْصِرَةً وَذِكْرًا لِكُلِّ عَبْدٍ مُنِيبٍ. As a tabsira, yubasiruka, in order to enlighten you. And that's actually the word, as an enlightenment and a reminder for every repentant devotee. Yubasiruka, it brings light to you. It gives you vision, it gives you inner sight, it gives you basira. And so that idea of the earth, some of them actually said this is a really nice example, rhetorically, where the tabsira refers to the heavens and the dhikra refers to the sky, to the earth. Because tabsira is, it's something to help you see, which certainly the sky does, and it helps you see the glory of God. The heavens declare the glory of God. But the dhikra is a constant reminder. So the earth is a constant reminder because the heavens stay the same. If you go out in the sky any time of the day, it's always the same. But the earth is constantly changing. So you have this stability and then you have this change. And these two, so one is a tabsira and one is a dhikra, a reminder. For every munib is the one who constantly goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then وَنَزَّلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً مُبَارَكًا. We set down blessed water, because the water is one of the great blessings of the world. And to lose water is one of the great tribulations. People can't survive without water for very long. And one of the troubles in the world now are the water tables are declining all over. In Central California, the water tables are declining. It's one of the signs of the latter days is the water tables decline. And so this is a huge problem.